But working on the Maester code, I'm going to add the new severity capability. So if anyone wants to join on the chat, feel free to join on the Discord. Right, so this is the Maester Discord. Let's work on adding severity. I think I'll make this bigger. So this should be going out to YouTube and so on. Let me just check if it is showing up. YouTube, LinkedIn, and all that. Yeah. Twitter as well. I just can't see the chat. Let me see if it's showing up here. I don't see it yet on link Twitter. Do I? If you want to, you can join from Discord. So on the Maester site, there's a Discord link at the bottom. So you can click that. I'm just trying to see, I can't see any of the chat. And I have no idea if the live streaming is working or not. Or if I'm just talking to myself. Let me see what YouTube is saying. Oh, I can see that I'm live on YouTube. Well, at least the YouTube chat is working. I'm just using Riverside, so I can't really see any of the chat here. So it'll mostly be one way unless you come on Discord. Let me post it here and see if that works. And the Discord link should be this one. Discord.maester.dev. I don't see it on yeah. Yeah, if someone can post something here, let's see if it works. I'll just post it on. No idea. That's fine. So yeah, if anyone wants to chat, you will need to go over to Discord and you can chat there. I'll just leave the Discord open. And let's get started. All right, so this is the Maester code base. I'll just make sure that I have the latest code over here. Yep. So let me first get the report working. Yeah. Right, so we are in the website. So let me start that. Oh no, I don't need the website. What I really need, so there are three things in Maester. We have the PowerShell module, we have the website, and we also have the report. So the report is made from React, and you can see that code over here. Now, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to add a new severity level. So I just need to have the report running. So we do that by saying npm run start. Oh, what is it? I forgot which. It's a good thing I have the README. Npm run dev. Okay, so you say npm. Let's make this bigger so anyone can see. So npm run dev is not running. Yep, so we should have the site, the report working now. Yeah, so this is the report with just, one level of item here and all of that works fine. Cool. So this is sort of like the dev version of the report. Right, so now to add severity. Where do we start? Just mute this. So I can hear myself talking. Yeah, I'm just still like disconcerting when I can't hear or when I don't hear any feedback. So yeah, I'm just checking on, I'm just using Riverside. So there's no way for me to see the chat or what it's doing. You can just delete. That's it. That's fine. Right. So how do we add this? So let's go to PowerShell. We need to add the new severity level. So when you add empty test result detail, what we're going to do is add a new parameter for setting the severity. Right. And I am going to start new chat. Say add a new parameter for the severity and it can be of type. So I posted this earlier today. These are the types of levels we're going to have. So this is what I proposed. I'll put in the code and we can make changes as the feedback comes in. It can be any one of these types. I'm just using GitHub Copilot to do the initial sort of coding. And this should be stored in the test info. Test info. What happens for the ones that are not rated? So let me add another one saying not rated, or we'll say unknown, because there's going to be a whole bunch of tests from that we already have. Oh, that's fine. Can be any one of these types. The default is info, right? So we'll keep it as info to begin with, and then update them as we go. Store in test info. All right, so that's the one. I'll change it to agent mode. So it'll actually write the code for me. And we wait. Right, so GitHub Copilot is updating the code. It's going to update. The add empty test result detail, that's where we put in, all the test details. Right, so it's going to go ahead and generate the code. Let me share the live stream URL over here. Let me just tag everyone. Yeah, I'm just going to post this in the chat. If you join the Discord, make sure you swap to the Maester tab, right? Because if not, you'll come into the welcome one there. That's where you land. Then just head over to Maester. And yeah, let's just do the chat there. I'll keep this up here so I can see if anyone posts. Right. So let's review the code that's generated. Critical, high, medium, low info. And the default severity is info. If it's not supplied, that's good. And then it's stored. Yeah, I think that should be fine. Okay, so now we've got the severity added. What we then need to do is, when Maester is called, when you invoke Maester, you run the tests. And then after the tests are run, what we do is, let's go to where the tests are run, right? We convert them to Maester results, right? So if you go into that code, we start by getting, all the tenant details, and we go into each test and we create the actual test object. So this is where we need to now sorry, yeah, we don't need to add stuff because in the result detail, we'll include all of the information, including the severity of the test, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add severity. Now, the neat thing is AIDSCA, all the AIDSCA tests, they already have, let me open up the AIDSCA docs, right? So if I open this up, come here, right? So if I go to Maester and I head down to the AIDSCA tests, this is what Thomas and folks have created. For all of the tests in AIDSCA, they actually come with severity included, right? So we pull all of that in update AIDSCA tests. So we pull them from this GitHub page, right? So you have test, MITRE tactic, all of that. And there you go, that's a severity. So he already has severity, we just didn't use it. So now what I'm going to do is update the AIDSCA test so we include the severity. Now how it works with AIDSCA is we generate all the PowerShell commands based on that. There's a JSON file which has all the tests, and what we do is we run through and we generate it, right? So I don't know if severity, yeah, so we do pull severity already. Severity, and what I'm going to do then is, hey Daniel, I somehow can't chat there. I can see the chat, but I saw your post on YouTube. Cool, yeah, good to see if you can follow along and see all the blunders I make on PowerShell, and people find out how bad I am at PowerShell. So we'll see how it goes. Right, so we have severity here, and what we need to do now is update the code that generates all these tests, right? So if you see over here, this is the build, and we do it manually, and you have all these AIDSCA tests, and these are all auto-generated. So what should happen is we need to add the severity here, right? So it should come like -severity, and it should be the actual value of the severity, right? So it should be like something like info or whatever the severity we're passing in, right? So to do that, I need to update this, and what do we do here? Let's see, we create the file, we create the markdown, and we do an update template. So there is a template for all the AIDSCA tests, which should be here. This is the template. So this is how the test looks, right? So what I'm going to do here is say, this is the severity, and we'll put in the severity. So it'll be something like that. Right, so we add that. Now the severity should be read. Yeah, so it's already looking, I think, for severity. Yeah, we already coded it, we just didn't use it. Yeah, so if there is a percentage severity in the template, it will just add that in, right? So we're going to add the severity here. And now let's run it. Right, so I'm going to go into build, update, AIDSCA. No, I think it's under build dates car, update dates car. Right, so permission denied. Why? Because I need to be running PowerShell. Right, so build update dates car. So this is going to go through and regenerate all the code, and actually we should be able to see it on GitHub. You can see it went and deleted all the files, and it sort of regenerates everything. So if it did its job, we should start seeing all these files being updated. Right, so the script is running. Folks, if you are commenting on LinkedIn or Twitter, I just can't see it. I'm using the website, so I can't see anything there. But if you do want to chat, you can jump on Discord by going to maester.dev and then jumping on the Discord from there. If you want to ask any questions. So yeah, so now it's going through and creating the test. So you can see now there's a severity, and then that's the age card tests are all being updated, and we are adding the severity level to that. So that'll be pretty easy, but for all the other custom tests, we'll definitely need to go in and review and add each test, the severity levels. Cool, but that's good. We have that now. Let me run it to see how it works. Right, so let's say connect Maester. Right, so I have to import the module, and then I'll make sure I'm signed in. I'll sign into my demo tenant, which is here. Yes, there's the new Intune stuff we've added, so that should come through. Right, so I'm connected. Now let me say invoke Maester, and I should update the Excel as well. Let me add that. Invoke Maester. I need to update this so we include the severity as well in the CSV. Right, so it'll be easy to see if they're all coming through. So we have the test ID, title, result. Let me add severity here. Right, so that should be good. It should be included in there. Let me import the module. Again, so that I get the updated code. Now let's say run it. I'm going to do a full run just to see how it works. Yeah, let's see how that goes. Yeah, it's going to take a few minutes, 2 to 3 minutes. So Dan's asking, is PowerShell the final form or built into a SaaS app? Yeah, I have a few different ideas to host, build a hosted version. I mean, there have been others. Some have asked me as well if they can build a hosted version. It's MIT, so anyone can build a hosted version. But yeah, I definitely do have plans for people who don't want to set this up themselves, to be able to just go sign in and be able to run and get this as a report, and then maybe even schedule it to run as well. So yeah, that's definitely something that I do want to do. I even have bought a domain. So we have maester.dev is where this is, but I also bought maester.org. So I mean, .com wasn't available, but I bought it with long-term plan to do something like that. For those who find it inconvenient to run this themselves. So yeah, we'll have to see how it goes. Right, so it's running through all the tests. Yeah, it's just going to take a few minutes because there are some role-related checks which now take a bit more longer than it used to be. I might need to just exclude them as I'm testing these. Or someone asked, can I run only some of the tests? Yes, you can run it with the tag option. So I could probably just run with, tag 8-scar just to get the 8-scar tests. Right. So when it finishes running, that should write it somewhere in here under test results. Yeah, it should be a new one created. Nice. That's good to hear, Dan. Yeah, and I'm thinking even something where you want to just run it yourself, but you could send the results to a SaaS, and so you can just use it for viewing. Where maybe you don't want to give access to your tenant, but you just have a central place to send the report, and so you have a history and you can analyze things. Like that's another idea as well. Cool. All right. So that ran, and I said export Excel, so it created the Excel version as well. Let me open that and see how it looks. All right. So that ran, obviously did add severity, but that didn't come through. So let's see if it's there in the JSON file that it created. So we have the tests, results. So severity is definitely there. Yeah, so that's being added for the tests. Why is it not showing up? Okay, so if it's just not showing up in the Excel, right? So, oh, right, okay. Maybe it's because I didn't add it to the Excel. If export Excel is present. It did add the column, but just that it was empty. So, oh, right. Oh, got it. Yeah, this should be under result detail. So it should be here because it's not in the root. It's in the other one. Cool. Right. So I just need to run that again, but it's painful to run the whole thing. So I'm just going to say, oh, and that's the other thing. So I did add duration because there's a new column here which tells you how long each test took. So it's a bit easier to figure out performance. And that's one of the reasons why I even added the Excel thing. So we have like 3 of these tests which take the longest time. I'm just going to exclude them, which should make it a lot faster. So let me say invoke, say exclude tag. Add this. I forgot what format it needs to be in. Let's hope that works. 7.4, 7.2, and 7.9. Will that work? Invoke Maester. What do we have here? We say exclude, it's a string array. Yeah, so that should work. Right, so hopefully that's a little bit faster. Should shave off like 3 minutes. 1, 2, yeah, 2.5 minutes from the run. Right. So we're seeing it in the Excel file, and what we need to do is also add it as a column here. So I'm going to be updating this report so we can show that as well. And to work on the report, what I do need to do is there's a whole README because I keep forgetting how to do it. I need to copy that JSON file over. So to update the sample report, yeah. So yeah, so you just need to follow these steps. So while that's running, I might just, because if you see here in the sample report that I have, it only has like one item in it. And, but yeah, it's one item, but there's no severity column in that. So I just need to update that file. So that's in app.jsx, right? And you can see this is the like a sample test that I have. What it's going to have is this tests name tag result. And if I look at the JSON that gets created, oh, let's see, where is that? Test results. Yeah, if I open up the one that was created last time. So we have tests, ID, tag, and in result detail. Oh yeah, so this one is slightly different. That right. Yeah, I might need to change how I read this. Yeah, let's copy the entire thing. So we have that here, and I just need to copy and paste. Right, so I have all the instructions here, so I keep forgetting how to do it. And yeah, because we don't update the tests all the time. So I need to search for const test, replace the contents between that. Okay. So we just need to replace everything between here and here with that. Right, and yeah, that's a long file. So it takes some time. Cool. Okay, so that finished. Let's check the Excel to see if that worked. Oh, I didn't. Is it still empty? Yeah, I think I might need to fix it so it includes it in the top level as well. Test title. Yeah, because I need to update this convert invoke Maester, and I'll say get empty Maester. What's the method? Invoke convert. Yeah. So it's convert to Maester results, and I do the test ID, test title. I think what I'm going to do is add the severity as well here. I mean, that's going to duplicate things. It's going to make the file larger. So maybe I don't want to do that. Result detail. This result. Yeah, so it's definitely in the JSON. Tests and result detail, severity is there. Convert to flat object. Underscore result detail dot result detail dot severity. Why is it not showing up? Why is it not showing up in the Excel? Maybe everything in the flattened results should be included in the Excel as well. Let me just try running one at a time. So instead of running all of it, export Excel and let's say include. So I'll just run one of the 8 scar. Which test shall I run? Let's pick a test. Let's run MT1014. So let's run MT1014. See what we get. Okay, so there's a few more questions in the YouTube chat. Is there a way to run over all our customers using MS Partner account at all? So I haven't worked much with partner tenants, but I know you can get the token. So it's just standard PowerShell, and if you can switch them around, like using the connect graph command, you should be able to do it. I haven't made any changes to Maester to make that easier, but yeah, that's something if someone wants to work or help me with, with partner tenants, we can look at that. All right, so I'm running one test to make it easier to troubleshoot. So just round one. Hey, Jonas, thanks. Yeah, you're eating popcorn and watching. So I ran one. I did the export Excel. Let's see how it looks, right? So this is the JSON file that got created for the latest one. Why does it? Oh, because they were all skipped. And yeah, so we see the result, failed, and there's an error record. Result detail, severity is there. But in the Excel, the severity is empty. Still, why is it empty? So when you say convert Maester to flat object, this should be reading dot underscore result detail dot test result. Did I make a typo here? Result detail dot severity. That can't be. Let's see if I can. Let's see if the debugging works. Right. So right. So let's run connect, and let's say invoke Maester. Let me just copy this, it's easier. Okay, so let me run this. Let's see if it breaks into this commandlet here. Right. So result detail, severity is info, that's good. Flatten results, that's good. Okay, so it does come through. So in flatten results, we have one item and we have the severity. So far so good. Then there's something else that's happening. What's that? Add the flatten, or there's another one. All right, so yeah, it's going to go for every single object. So let me let it run, come up to here, this breakpoint. Right, so Excel CSV, there's no CSV, there's Excel. So it should write, that's odd, it should write everything. So flatten results. Let's make sure it has the severity. Oh, severity is null. That's info. Okay, that's fine. First one is info. So yeah, it does have severity here, but when it's not run, it'll be null. So that should be fine. And we write that to the Excel file. Okay. That's all good, but the Excel file seems to be, it's there now. I don't know. Oh, did I not do an import? Oh, right. I get it. I didn't do an import. Silly mistake. That was the reason. Yeah, so when I did a debug, it re-imported it, and then it, pulled out the code change that I made. So that started working. But yeah, so now it should work. So if I open the file now, yeah, that's there. All good. Right. So we've got that. So the Excel CSV export is fine. We've got severity. Now we need to update the report, right? So what I'll do is, yeah, all of that's there. I'll just update this to, no. Okay, so let's close this off. Let's see in app.jsx. So this is now we have to add this to the report, right? So we have severity info, all of that's good. Cool. So now we need to update the HTML report so that it now shows, yeah, so we have all of this. So we want to add a column called severity and show the severity level here. Okay, so that's going to be in the test results table. So this is now we switch over from PowerShell to JavaScript, and that's where we are going to be displaying the table status info. Yeah, so this is what is showing right now. We just have 3 columns at the moment. So the test, status, and info. And what we're going to do is add the severity. So let's switch over to this and say add the severity column to the table by reading it from the app.jsx. What's the variable? By reading it from the test results. Let's see if it can figure it out. So I'm just using Copilot. It's a lot easier to get the basics and then tweak the code. It's a lot more easier to make code changes this way than trying to learn React and figure it out all on your own. All right, so is the thing on? Yeah, so it's still trying to find the code base. Yeah, I should have probably told it where to read the data from. It's trying to figure out where to get the severity data from. That's going to take a while. So I'm just going to stop it and say, add the severity column to the table by reading it from test results. It should be under just copy this value. It will be in the tests array. It'll be under, what is it, result detail. Severity column. This is the format of the JSON. And yeah, I'll need to add this file, test results table. All right, so yeah, I was in the wrong file, so maybe that confused it. I was in app.jsx, right? So this should be better because I'm now setting the context to test results. See, it's now figured out a lot faster on its own. Copilot doing all the work for us. Okay, so it's added the severity column. and then shows the severity. If it's empty, it's showing info by default. Do we want to do that? No. Because for skipped tests, we don't want to show the wrong info, right? I'll say don't show info as if severity is empty, don't show any values. Okay, so if it's severity with empty, it just doesn't show anything, right? So that should be a good start. And yeah, the neat thing is it will just show up here with React. You don't need to be running stuff. As soon as the code changes, it updates it. I'm just going to close all these other tabs so it's easier to see. Right. So that's okay, I guess. But what do we want to show? Should we show the status? It should show severity first and then the status, right? So let's change the order. Title, yeah, it should show the result at the end. Why is it like this? Table cell, white space, result. I put it in the wrong place. Yeah, let's put it here. This indentation is wrong. Okay. Right, so that's there, but I don't like this view. So it'll be nicer if it has sort of an iconic view like that. So that we use tremor.so. So this is the like JavaScript component that shows that we're using for displaying things. Let's make it look nicer. What we need is another type of label. Not a label, what are those called? Inputs. Batch, yeah, it's called a batch, right? So it's a use a badge and yeah, show the severity using so let me add that. Add status label, test result. Don't need those. Yeah, with GitHub Copilot, Yeah, Tremor is really a nice React library. There are lots of others, but I like Tremor, and now it's bought over by Versal, and they made everything free as well. So it's really nice to build all these cool looking stuff. Yeah, and they give these templates. I need to update the report to make use of some of those more things, like the cooler stuff. Right. So to show the severity, I'll say show the severity using badges. Use appropriate colors for and relevant icon for each of the levels. And so the levels we have are, where was that? I did put that in. The severity levels are here. The levels include these, right? Status label, I don't need that. I don't need that. I just need to give it the context of the right file. So test results, status label, and all of that. Yep, let's see if it gives us a better looking report. So yeah, ideally, a different icon with the status. I just we need to make sure it doesn't conflict with the pass failed icons. I should have mentioned that. Okay, that didn't work. Use the levels to include that. And then say, don't use a different color palette. Use different colors from what is already used for the status. And I also mixed up one thing. So you can see here this mixed up. So the severity should be, I changed the data but not the column header. So I need to update this so that severity goes up here. That comes here. So that should be better. So test severity status. Yeah, so the last thing didn't work. Sometimes Copilot errors out. Let's see, it's working. I might need to switch to one. Sometimes one of the LLMs stops working. Okay, that worked. Okay, so it added a new file called severity, and it's at different colors. Looks okay. And then it's going to pick up those. Let's see, I think these are the same icons. Exclamation. See what it creates. Should make it look a little bit nicer. Right, red, amber, green. Let's see. Okay, keep that. Right, so let's see if that worked. What happened? I think it errored out. The page is not loading. Okay, why is that? Most probably an error in the output. Yeah, it's an empty page. So if we see it here, we should see what the error is in console. If I get the console, yeah. Does not provide an export named. Okay, so let's get Copilot to fix this. Get this error. Folks watching on the live streams, if you want to chat, you can head over to the Discord channel. So that's discord.maester.com. If you go to maester.dev, we have the link to the Discord channel over there, and you can join the chat from there. And we can, if you have any questions or things you want to share, you feel free to jump on over Discord, because I can't really see all the chats. I'm just using a live streaming software, so it's just sending it out everywhere, but I don't see it. Okay, so that's not working. It's taking too long to think. Let's try again. Shouldn't take this long. Let me close down. These are the files that I don't need. Just close everything and just open app.jsx and test results.jsx. Okay, it's doing something. I think I know what the error is, but I don't want you to use those icons. Should it? Tremor, React. Is it? What did I use for the other one? It should be hero. I can react. Okay. All right, I understand. I didn't install. Maybe I need to update. Okay. Yeah. So it was a missing icon. Let's see if. Okay, so let's see if that fixed the issue. No, I don't think it did. Oh, it did. Awesome. All right, so that's good. So that's info. Are they all info? Okay, so there's medium and high. Okay, that's looking better. Will it confuse people if we show colors for when like you have these skipped? I don't think it should. Let's see, there's info, high, medium, but it doesn't look right. The info looks too prominent, and high, medium, low is fine. Yeah, I don't like the colors. Let's see, we can get better ones. I don't like the colors for critical, high, medium, and low. Use ones that are appropriate. For the severity, use ones that are appropriate. Right now, the info color shade is too strong, right? It looks like the info should be like very sort of go to the background, and things that are more critical and high are what should show up here, right? So let's see what it says or what it does. I wonder if Tremor, like I like the Tremor folks that have some templates that we could use. Oh, let's see if they have. I mean, these are the colors they had before. Is there another way of showing it instead of labels? Maybe this color scheme, purple. Yeah, I think these colors look more appropriate. Maybe I should recommend that if it doesn't come up with something good. Okay, let's see how those look now. Yeah, so this is what I didn't want because it's in the same color and now it's confusing between like failed and high are the same colors. Maybe we don't show colors for severity and just only show cool. Yeah, thanks. All right, so folks in the chat, what do you think? Should we, how do we show that it's different? Because right now it's confusing when you read it, like you know this past, but the high seems to sort of make it feel like you failed. Um, how do we, what do we do to make it, I think, less prominent? Maybe they should all be gray or what? I think, where was that? We're looking at these colors here. I think I liked these. So maybe they should be all blue. And let's see if we do that. If you make all of them blue, so that's ETF shares vital, or maybe purple. ETF invest. Where does it have the color? Yeah, maybe transparency. Yeah, I think that might be a good idea. Can you reduce the transparency on the colors? how do you say, transparency or the gradient? No, I don't know the exact word to describe it. To make the colors less prominent for severity. We don't want the severity colors to overwhelm overwhelm the status colors. Let's see what GitHub comes with. If it's past, always make it green. That's another suggestion. So maybe if it's past, then this also is green and shows high. I mean, that's an option too. But then what do we do for if it's failed? We don't want to, if it's failed, we don't want to show that in red if it's like an info, right? If it's info, we don't want to say that it's a red thing. I think we shouldn't show icons for the status because that's definitely confusing. Like there's too much noise. So maybe for severity, we should just only have the name and not the icons. Let's see what it does. Okay, so that's info high. Yeah, so that's definitely better. It's like a smaller gradient, unless when you hover over it. So yeah, that's a good idea. Transparency is nice, but I think we should remove the icons. That will make it cleaner for this, right? So let's remove the icon for all of them and see how that looks. Oh. Because we still have it in as a text. Yeah, I think this looks better, right? We have high, medium, low. It's not as strong, and we don't have the icons. So I think that's fine. But what happens when it's in the dark mode? Failed, medium, high. I mean, it's still readable, and they don't overwhelm the final result. Yeah, I think I'm okay with that. Right, except yeah, info is gray. Should be okay. Yeah, that's good. So I think that's in a good state to say added status. Now, one thing I also wanted to do, added severity. Is to add sorting for these tables. Right, so let's see how to get that done. Add the ability to sort the tables by column. By clicking on the column header. Right, we need severity badge, we need test results table, I don't think we need the measure. It's fine. I think we also need, what's the other one? Result. Yeah, I think those should be it. Show the right icons for the sort order. In the header. Hopefully, yeah, GitHub Copilot can do that, because that's something that'll take me hours to do if I were to write all the code. Yes, I just want these to be sortable. And yeah, I probably need to also split out the tests. So we, like in the Excel sheet, we show the ID and the title separately now. So I think we should split that out as well. Let's see how it goes with this. Side. Just for those on the chat, can you see the code clearly enough? I'm streaming at 1080, and I wasn't sure if the resolution was clear enough. I don't know why it shows my screen so big when. Yeah, and I can't change it while I'm in the live stream. Just using. How can I? Cool. Thanks, Dan. Yeah, that's good. So let's see what it's still thinking. Let's see what comes up with. So Dan, Chris, you have a question. So you said Excel output to have severity and result to be filterable. Result, severity. I mean, you can do it today. Oh, camera discarded. What is that? Excel is too small. Yeah, I need to make the Excel bigger. Something wrong with the. It says camera is disconnected, but it's still streaming, or is the streaming stopped? It's still working. I'll just leave it. Right. So you can. So over here, where's the Excel? I'll open. Yeah. So let's say if it's result. I mean, you can, with the filtering, if you turn on filtering, you can always sort it, right? So you can say by result. If you go to data and sort, you should be able to sort by result, and you can say, that way. So that, or is it because you want it to? Yeah, because it's in alphabetical order, so it'll sort by this, right? So which is severity and result. Okay, so you want to sort of combine these two into one column. So you can, yeah, I mean that we can do it. Severity. Yeah, we can have like a score here, right? The result score. And you can say if it's passed. Yeah, I think the problem here is you can filter, but you can't really sort them, right, with severity, unless we put a number in front of these. So each of them have like a number dash, and one is passed, two is failed. No, but I don't think, yeah, then the sorting should work, because then one will be like the first level, and failed and skipped will be third, because right now you can't really sort them, right? You can't get them in the order that you want. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Maybe we could add another column that has numbers for these, and come, yeah. Then, like, if you have two different columns, then you can always sort on those levels. Cool. Okay, what's happening here? This is still going. So yeah, sometimes Copilot just dies on you. Right. Yeah, so I think, yeah, that we can definitely do that, right? So you can say, um, we can have like two more columns, right? Or three columns, where you say 0, 1, and like for each one of the risks as well, you can have a number, score, like a score, so that they come in the order that you want them to. Yeah, and skipped, I think, I mean, we can give a number, but you can always, yeah, if you leave it empty, you can filter it out. It depends on how you use it in Power BI, but in Excel, it'll, like, you can leave it empty, right? This is not working. So let me change to 3 point. Let's try GPT-04 mini. People say that's good. Let's give it a try and see if it's smarter than Claude. No, I don't know if I've finished all the Copilot credits. I just make a new chat. I'm not such a big fan of GPT-4. Let's open the code editor, so you should get the files, and then ask the question. Okay, that got it going. Did I add the code base, or what are you trying to do? Let's see, what do I have? Yeah, GitHub is fine. Yeah, it's okay. Go ahead. Yeah, I use Gemini. If Claude doesn't work, I use Gemini. I've been switching between those two a lot. Claude, I feel it's much better, but I think for some of the code, like React, it depends on what their strong suite is, for whether it's React and so on. Like someone, like, I think people have been saying that I get confused. I think it's 4.0 or 04 mini is good and it's fast. We'll see. Yeah, and that's the reason why I always like commit, and have a clean slate, so I can actually, revert things, because sometimes they just get confused, and I can switch between and, try Claude and then Gemini and O4 Mini. Right, so it's done the icons, the sorting, it's still going. Yeah, there's a lot of changes for this. But it's pretty standard things that you do. So hopefully, what did it do? It didn't create functions. Oh, it did create a sortable header. Okay. Up, down, name, handle the sort. Yeah. Severity status and the test. Yep. Yep. And that's the filtering. Yeah, all of that looks good. Let's see what we got. Oh, it made it too big, but I mean, that's fine. Severity. Oh, this is the confusing, right? So, oh no, severity. Oh, it actually did that well. So it actually did high, medium, low info. Yeah, so it did a smart sort, unlike what we were thinking of in Excel. Yeah, so this is failed, and then you have the past. Yeah, which makes sense. I would want to see the failed first when you sort it this way, and then the past ones. Right, so that's good. I can live with that. So that's the sort order. Let me commit this because I like where we are. And it's sorting. Now I do want to read the test ID and the title separately instead of using what it's doing now, right? So in app.jsx, we should now have, yeah, you have the ID and title, okay? Okay, in the table, remove the name column and add the ID and title column in its place. Okay, so that should, because we recently did the split for always, we always had the name which had both the ID and the title in there. But last week we did the split where we have a unique ID for each test, and then the name, and then the title. So we did the change, it's all there in the JSON file, but we just didn't update this yet, right? So now we should end up with 2 columns here for that. So that should make it look nicer once it gets going. They said they support. Yeah, the LinkedIn live stream, did it finish or it's still? I can still going. Yeah, I'm just reading. I just realized that I can see the LinkedIn ones. Yeah, I'm only seeing the LinkedIn ones now. Nice. Few comments here. Cool. Yeah, I'm using river side, but for some reason it says the camera disconnected and to restart. But yeah, it's all working fine. Okay, it's done the change. So now we remove the name, added ID and title, and we have all of that. Okay, let's see if all that works. No, that messed it up. What happened to the other columns? I think, no, I didn't read the right column. Yeah, that wasn't a good change. So it did add everything. Let me see what the issue is. I think it's the font. It's using item.name instead of using title. Right, yeah, so that's not good. I only see the ID column. And all the other columns are not visible. Change it so the plus the name is shown, the name value is shown instead of the title. Right, so we should say use the ID and title columns instead of name. Based on this JSON format. Okay, let's see. We should be in test results. Is there a way, so Chris has asked, is there a way to have the file names when running invoke Maester to have the tenant name as a prefix? So, I mean, the default is just test results. We didn't put the tenant name because people could have like multilingual and different characters and so on. So the default code in invoke Maester doesn't do that. So if you want to show the tenant name, you could probably you can always pass that in as a parameter, right? So you can set that through. So when you say instead of the default is it just generates the name on its own if you don't supply one. So what you can do is you can customize invoke so that you send the tenant name. I feel that gives you more flexibility, like you can pass in the GUID and other things. Because the tenant name can be like various different names, and because we use it, the default in GitHub Actions and all those other places, we just it's simpler when it's like a fixed, or at least the first part of it is a fixed one. Okay, so let's see, it's removed all that. And we have idle title. It's reading the ID. If it's not there, it's reading the name. Yeah, I guess that's fine. Why is it still? It's reading the title. Yeah, it's trying to do extra. See, that's the thing with Claude. It does things you didn't ask for it to do. So it's trying to be smart. Okay, so now we've got something better. Um, that's good. The IDs are there, the titles now easier to sort. And yeah, we get the severity as well. Right, and it did a monospace on that, so that's fine too. But maybe the ID shouldn't be left aligned, uh, or shouldn't be centered. Right, so where do you do that? Items, table header. Oh, it does the entire thing center. That's going to make it harder. Why is the reduce the gap between the ID and title columns? Why is it so big? Make the ID column use the minimum space. Cool. Yeah, I think that's fine. I don't know why it did like a mono space for this, for the ID column. Yeah. I haven't checked Twitter as well. Is it streaming on Twitter? No. Yeah, so Chris, yeah, you can pass that in there. So let's see this change. It's left aligned, white space, wrap. Let's see how that looks. I don't think that made any change to how it looks. Oh, okay, now I see. Because the SharePoint one is really long, it's expanded. That's the only catch. But I think that's okay. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Right, so we've done those two. So let's leave that added ID and title. And what we also need is to be able to filter by severity. Right, filter by, yeah. So we should be able to search by ID, title, and yeah, let's just start by filtering. So we need this, so add the ability to filter by severity. Yeah, so I thought you already knew about this. Yeah, you can give, like, there's so much config you can pass when you call in invoke. So you can pass in a variable and give your tenant name to give a custom name. You can actually take a look at the code in invoke Maester. Let me open another one just because Copilot is running over there. So if I can't open the same thing. Maybe I'll open it in inside. Right, so here, Maester. No, let me open GitHub Maester. Yeah, so if you go to invoke Maester, this is just a different version of VS Code. Right, so in invoke Maester, you can see how we do the file name. So you can just look in invokemaester.ps and sort of use same approach to define how the file should look for you. Yeah, so you can configure, like, the output folder and how you want the HTML to be created. Maybe you can even have a different folder name, right? Like maybe a tenant name is the folder you want to have. That's one thing I do. I just put them in different folders and have the files generate under that. So that's easy too. Okay, so ability to filter by severity. What's the change? Multi-select. Why did it add it there? Oh, okay. Then we have, it added it to the same place. Severity and then it adding that to the sort filter. Okay. Let's see if that's worked. Looks ugly, but let's see. Show me just the critical ones. And yeah, we didn't have any critical. So let's say, show me just the high. Cool. Yeah, that looks good. So now we have that. But it's just taking up the entire column width, right? Which we don't want. But the sorting works. So not sorted by default, which means it shows everything. But we can say, show me critical, or just show me medium. Right, showing was is low green. I mean, we didn't have any low ones, so there's one. Okay, that's good. So just a tweak to the width, the severity, and status filter boxes are shown too large. Make them smaller. Let me leave this because I also want to add searching. So add a text, add a search text box that will allow to the filter pane that will allow to search by ID or title. Search and show results, show rows that contain the same ID or title. I think just ID or title should be now. Should we look up description? No, I don't think. Just ID and title should do. I mean, all of the stuff I'm doing today, because it's GitHub Copilot, I can. I've been putting this off for so long. I've been wanting to do this since like before version 1. Um, but with GitHub Copilot, like all these React things, I mean, I didn't even need to go look up the docs, which is what I would spend hours trying to do to create as I work on the reports. So definitely amazing what you can do with AI, and especially this agentic mode in VS Code. See, so I think the streaming to LinkedIn is working and Twitter is working. Not Twitter, it's streaming to LinkedIn and YouTube, but not to Twitter. So I can see people replying on. Yeah. Okay. Right. So it's still going through. Okay. Let's see where it comes. If I can get the sort done and make all of that work, what else do I need to do on the report? Searching, sorting. Yeah. So what I do also need to do is when we show it here, we should show the severity as well in here. Maybe show that. Where should that show up? Maybe it should show up here next to past, but it should also say severity colon and then the, or maybe a tooltip. Yeah, I think a tooltip that says severity, high, medium, low should work. Yeah, that and this. Okay, where are we? Search query, search as by ID and title. Okay, let's see how it looks. Search by ID. So let's say I want to see the CISA ones. Nice. So let's say CISA.ms.ad.2. Cool. So it shows all the ones that were 2. Nice. Let's say I want to see all the phishing ones that have fish. And yeah, so all the fish ones come up. Perfect. Yeah, I think that's good. It just needs to make these look nicer. So we should move these 2 combo boxes to the top. I'll just tell it to make it look nicer. The filter options at the top are not formatted well. They take up too much space. Can you update them to look better and be usable? Those of you watching on YouTube or LinkedIn, just a quick call out. You can head over to discord.maester.dev. Or if you go to the Maester site, there's a Discord link at the bottom, and you can join into the Maester channel from there, if you want to chat. We also have, the intra, like a general chat as well for folks who want to chat here. Right. And yeah, I can see a couple of new folks have joined today. Right. So grid layout, simplify labels, consistent sizing, visual space. What were the changes? Grid maximum, there's a flex, yeah. And placeholder. Cool. And it's out of mode, all these around. Okay. Yep. Let's see. Hope it still works. No, that doesn't look nice. I mean, it's cutting off these, right? So I didn't want that. High, medium. So maybe the how do we break it out? Show them in 2 rows. Maybe they should be shown in 2 rows. Yeah. How do we break it? So search should definitely be 1. What happens if it's getting small? 2. It's too crowded when they are all in 1 row. Split them out into two rows. Where should be move category and tag, or move? I think moving. What would you normally? You would always filter by title, then the status, and then severity. Yeah, less for category and tag, right? So move category tag to the bottom. Or will it look nicer if those two are? It doesn't matter. I hope it just says when I say move bottom. I hope it doesn't move to the bottom of the table. Okay, so this is the other area we want to change. This doesn't really mean much. It's showing the block. I mean, we need a different view for this. What's the view we have in? Because there was a discussion on while that comes up, right? No, not here. While it does its thing. Okay, so it's made changes, moved them around. That's the file. Let's see how it looks now. Went to the other extreme. First row, second row. No, it's showing it in 3 rows. It's not doing what it's saying it's doing. I'm seeing them in 4 rows. Up to. The search ID, title search box, status filter, and severity filter should be in 1 row. I'm thinking thinking, should we even remove the category filter? I mean, it's useful. The tag, I don't know how many people use the tags. Should we take that out? Yeah, the export is a new one. The hyphen export Excel is new. So what you need to do to test the preview one, I mean, today's changes will go as well. You need to go to PowerShell gallery. Like if you go here, if you go to so Guido, you are saying you use the tags. Cool. Yeah, so you have the preview version, and every time we like when I push through today's changes, it will be there immediately. So what you need to do for the preview version is when you click here, you'll see that you just need to say allow pre-release. So you need to install the module and say allow pre-release. Then it will get the latest version because that's more frequently updated. So every time we build, it's all available for people to test and let us know if there are issues. Because we do releases like once a quarter is what we are trying to keep to. And then all of the new stuff to show up in that version. Okay, let's see if that change worked. Okay, that's better, but it's still not as clean as I would like. But I guess that's fine. Yeah, I'm okay with this. Unless we want to keep search right at the top and move the other 4 down. But yeah, this would still be small. Yeah, I'm good with that. It's just that we show like we avoid showing the not run ones, and so it shows up like that. Cool. Yeah, that's okay. So let's commit this. We should be good with that, right? So I'll say added search filters. That's done. Just push it into the PR. And then in the detail view, so the next change is in the detail view, we want to show the severity up there, right? So for that, that's in result info dialog, right? So in this dialog is where we show all the details, right? So it should be somewhere here. Show the severity label in the result info, right? I need to say add context, open editor, so it gets all these files. In the result info dialog, it should be shown in the top right before the status. Also add a tooltip. Do we need a tooltip? Tooltip to show that it is for severity. Okay. The burger menu, yeah. let's get that changed in. Okay, so those are the changes. It's added severity, and what's the other one? Severity patch. I'm still doing changes. Okay, let's see how it looks. Nice. There you go. I mean, I did ask it to do a tooltip, but I don't think it. Didn't I ask it to add that? Why is the title not clickable? I should make that also clickable. Yeah, I think this is fine. It's showing high or past. It doesn't show the tooltip, but I think that's fine. We should work out. We should be able to figure out what that is. So we have that. Let's see some other combinations. Cool. Yeah. Nice. Okay. So that's good enough. Right, so I'll say added severity dialog. One more fix is in the table. Make the title column, title row, column rows clickable. So it opens the result dialog. Yeah, I don't know why I never added that. That's the first thing someone would do, right? They'll just go click this to open. Right now, you need to come here and open it, which is a little annoying. Cool. I think if we do that, that should be enough for today. Call it a day. And I'll push the changes through. Oh, yeah, but I need to do that last bit. Yes, so what was I doing? I was opening this up because we wanted, there's this whole discussion we were having around the, what's it, for the chart. Yeah, this one. Replace the area chart stack bar with a stacked bar chart. I don't think the stacked bar chart also has much values. There's this whole discussion. Yeah, so Fred also said stack chart might not be what you want. Yeah, we need a different view here. So I think that's why I was looking at what Tremor has. For the type of chart that we want to show. So I think maybe like makes sense to have if you're going to show that. I mean, now that we have severity, it might make sense to show that in the, like here we should show the number of tests by severity. How many are passing or failing by severity might be a better view to show here instead of what we're showing here now. Just need to figure out how we, maybe something like this. Page severity level. Yeah, or that view. Yeah, we'll need to pick one of these types of charts to show that. We know the backlogs. No, we don't have anything outside of issues and discussion. So we basically keep it all here. So it's all in discussions and issues. There's this thing called projects we tried out initially, but we never, like, it's locked down to only the people who are in the team. I don't know if if there's a way to open it out to everyone, but by default, yeah, it was not very, like, it's for when you're working in a smaller team. Base role. Can see this project. Yeah, I haven't really figured out how to use this. So, like, that's where we initially started, but then because everyone couldn't see it, we moved it off. Yes, this was sort of the initial list. I mean, it shows the discussions and stuff. So these we did like when we were working on it like early last year. But then we just moved to just using issues and the discussion with ideas. If you have ideas and feature requests, that's where we put them here, and we discuss and try to build them off that. Right. So that was the plan. Cool. Okay. So let's see how it did. Display text. What was the change we wanted? Okay, let's see if that worked. Okay, that's better. Now they're all clickable. We have the info as well. Maybe we might not even need the info column. Yes, that's a lot easier and it's a lot faster to see. I haven't really checked in the night mode if they all look. Yeah, that's looking fine. Cool. I think that's good enough for changes for now. So let's let me say maybe the ID and title clickable. We put that in. Right now, this doesn't add it to PowerShell, so this is more like for building it out. So now we have all of the changes in the React app, and I need to now put this into PowerShell, right? So all the steps are documented here. If you ever need to come here and make these changes, so to the build, we need to do an npm build, right? So we say npm run build, and so what it will do is it will create the file, right? It combines all of that because at the end we only have that one HTML file. So it's doing a build. It puts it in this distribution folder. There you go, index.html. That's built, right? And then I just need to copy this file. Here, copy to the right. So I'm in the root, right? So it should be. I should put it here. So I need to say copy that file, and then it goes into PowerShell. So I go to GitHub, I should see that the report HTML file. It's not a file that you open and view, but that should have it, right? So now when we do another run, that's the wrong folder, this one. Yeah. So let's import the modules. So now it's all in the PowerShell module as well. And if I run, let me just run one test to see if it's working. Cool. Okay, so we see the new report now. When you run, these are clickable. We see the severity, that's info, and you have this view as well. Nice. Okay, so that's good. And I just need to submit this PR and get that merged in. So hopefully once all of that's done, when you see a new build show up in here, then yeah, when it ticks over to the next version, in the next hour or two, you should be able to like download it and run it. But if you want to just try it out on your own, you can always just clone the repository and just say import module that. Then it's just running off locally off your repository. Cool. Awesome, folks. I hope you enjoyed the live stream. We did quite a lot today in the short time. And yeah, it's good to tick off a lot of things that I was planning on doing. Nice. Thanks so much for joining. And we'll see you all next time. And I'll end the live stream.